the one, the only, Ben Sion. Good evening and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube Daily Double. Today we're doing Pesachim Pesachim Parachet, Mishnayos Beis and Gimel. Mishnah Beis says, "Haomer la'avdo, say Shchot Alayas HaPesach." He tells his servant, he says, "Go and shech for me the Korban Pesach. I don't have time to do it. You do it for me." Shachat Gedi, right? There's two animals which are kosher for Korban Pesach: a goat and a lamb. Now they both have to be male and they have to be within the first year. A goat would be called a kid. A lamb is a baby ram. So, but you didn't tell him which one. Most people would want a sheep. Goat meat doesn't taste so good. But it's called shavan, I think it's called, baby goat meat. But lamb, right? So most people would prefer lamb chops. Shachar gedi yochal. If he shechs a baby goat, you didn't say what you wanted to shech. You have goats and you have lambs in your flock. He shechted the goat. So you presumably relied on whatever he's going to shech. So it's valid and you eat it. Shachar toleh yochal. Of course, if he shechs a sheep, you could eat it. Shachar gedi v'tleh yochal min harishon. He went and shechted two animals for Korban Pesach. You only wanted one. So presumably you can assume you wanted with the first one, even though really most people prefer a ram, but you relied on him. You relied on this Evan. Whatever he does, he's your butler. You rely on what he does. Shachach masha amar lo rabo. Let's say the Evid forgot what his Rebbe, his master, either told him a sheep or a goat. He forgot what he told him. Kezed yasas, and he wants to make sure he gets the right animal. Yishcho tle v'yomar im gedi amar li Rabbi gedi shalo tle shaliv im tle amar lo Rabbi hatle shalo gedi shaliv. He goes to the person who is in charge of the shepherd, of the owner, of the master, and he says, I'm gonna take from it, right? If my master really wanted a sheep, so that's what the one I'm taking from the flock, I'm shechting for his Korban Pesach, and the goat that I'm taking for myself. I guess he can give himself a present, and therefore it works out. And if really my master wanted the goat, so the goat I'm taking, and the sheep belongs to me. Shachach rabo ma'amarlo. Let's say he shechted something, and the Rebbe's the master said, "Wait, I forgot if I said a kid or a goat," and he shechted both. He doesn't know. Shneim yatsu lebeis l'shriva. Both Korban Pesachs have to be burnt because he's not sure. The Rebbe, he only said one or the two, and he shechted both, but he's not sure which one. Upturim lasses Pesach Sheni. So, however, you're exempt from doing Pesach Sheni. Pesach Sheni is basically if you were Tameh or B'derech Choka, you couldn't get to Beis Hamikdash. You have a month later to bring the Korban Pesach a second time, Yudal Iyar. However, in this case, one of these were kosher. You just don't know which one is for you. So therefore, Kape Shmaya Galia, Hashem knows which one you did one right. However, you can't actually use it. Therefore, you have to burn both of them. But you don't do Pesach Sheni. The question is, wait a second. You're supposed to eat a Korban Pesach. You can't eat a Korban Pesach over here. So there's a couple questions. First of all, why are you not doing Pesach Sheni? And second of all, can you bring another korban, right? Can you bring another korban to eat a korban Pesach Sheni? How could it be Pesach Rishon? Sorry. You're not going to have a korban Pesach this year. What do you do? We'll talk about that more in Iyun Mitzion. It's a big discussion. Gimel, Ha'omer Labonav, already shochet as a Pesach, he wants to get his kids to be his reason but mitzvahs, to do the mitzvahs with alacrity. So he says, whoever goes to Yerushalayim first, he'll be the first one to account for the Korban Pesach, and he'll be Zoka, all his brothers along with him. Once the first son, his head, most of his body gets into Yerushalayim, so he's Zoka to be the first one numbered on the Korban Pesach, and he is the one that brings the schus to his brothers. The olam nimnin alav adjehei bo kizayis l'chol echad ve'echad. As many people as you want could register on the Korban Pesach, depending on how big it is. You have to have at least a kazayas basar of the lamb for each person. If there's less than that, they can't be nimna. Only the amount of people, let's say there's 20 kazayas, and 20 people could register on the Korban Pesach. Nimnin umoshknes yadayim imenu ache yishchot. You could register for it, or withdraw yourself before the shechita. After the shechita, you can't. Rabbi Shimon Omer, ache yizrok alavas adam. Rabbi Shimon says that the cutoff point is not the shechita. Even after the shechita, right? You can't register You can't register after the Shechita. However, you could remove yourself from the Korban Pesach even after the Shechita. No Zrikas Adam. We don't pass like Rabbi Shimon. Basically, the cutoff point is the Shechita. Once the Shechita happens, you can no longer register, and you can no longer remove yourself from the list. Stay tuned for Iyam Mitzion, where I discuss Mishnah Beis. What do you do in a case where both Karbanos go to Beis HaSreifa? Do you bring another Korban Pesach? What about eating the Korban Pesach? What does it mean, Turim Pesach Sheni? Iyam Mitzion coming up next.